Okay, hello everybody, my name is Senta, and as I already was introduced, I'm originally from Germany, and that's why I speak with a funny accent, yeah. So, excuse that. And I'm an environmental engineer, yeah? And what do environmental engineers do? Well, in my case, we do poo and pee, as everybody else. But we actually look at it and we study it, and we want to know what you can do with it, yeah? Awesome stuff, poo and pee. And today, I'm going to introduce you to them, I hope, in some way or the other. Is it alright?
It's not on. It's not on.
Give it an engineer and the technology just goes, right? So, poo and pee. Look at them, yeah? Everybody knows them, and probably you've met them today already. Yeah. So, poo, the solid guy, yeah? And on the other side, pee, liquid. Yeah? And for us, it's, thank you. You said you don't know technology. There you are. Yeah? So, pee, liquid, yeah, that's what they say. And for us as scientists, we want to know what's in it. And what defines that? Ooh, yeah. Yeah, what defines it? So anyone likes beetroots? Any beetroot fans here? Sort of, probably had it a couple of times already. What happens when you eat beetroot? You get some interesting color choices in the toilet. That's what happens. So you eat something red, comes out. You eat, or what you get in poo and pee is what you eat. But as a scientist or as an engineer, I want to know what other stuff is in there. So I'm looking more at elements and molecules. And in this regard, what's very interesting for me is the nitrogen content, the phosphorus content, and the potassium content. And where do you need that? Any gardeners among you? People with a garden, you want to grow vegetables, you need fertilizer. And fertilizer has exactly these three components. So you look at poo and pee, they're actually doing pretty good in that regard, huh? The winner here is pee. Absolutely fantastic. You have high nitrogen levels, so pee is a perfect fertilizer. Did you know that?
No.
Woo! Yeah, so even the guys in the back row, they were just sitting there drinking their coffee maybe, or you sit there and sip your water. You just hear, in the last hour, you produce perfect fertilizer, so you can give yourself a clap here. But hey, it's not all rainbows and ponies here, you know. There's some character flaws, sorry about that. So poo, obviously, is the guilty guy. We want to get rid of poo very, very quickly. And why is that? Because it stinks, and you have lots and lots of bacteria in there. And bacteria we don't like. The pathogens, they make us sick. Also, pee, not always good. So what you find in pee are hormones and pharmaceuticals. So when you take a Panadol or an antibiotic, some of it ends up in your pee. And of course also hormones, pregnancy tests, maybe from TB, some people personally. So how do they work? You pee on this little stick thingy, and then it shows you if you're pregnant or not. Except when you're mom, it just doesn't apply. Well, anyway, so that shows you, it's just an example that there are hormones in your pee. And of course we don't want this stuff in our environment, so we want to keep the pee pretty safe away from our rivers and from our groundwater, because what happens when it comes into the rivers, it might just end up in our water supply. And now you open your tap at home, and then you have a nice glass of water, and then you have nice hormones and Panadol or I don't know what antibiotic residue in there. Do you want to drink that?
No.
No, you don't want to drink that. So we also want to get rid of it somehow. And so this takes me to this place where everything begins. It begins often, or that's what we think it should begin with that sound. What is that? Flush toilet. And flush toilets are are awesome, aren't they? They're clean, they're hygienic, they're wonderful, yeah? Because when we think that we have this funny idea in our heads, then when our poo and pee drops in a little puddle of water and is then miraculously swept away to a far, far away place, then we are better human beings. Human, dignified human beings. Is that true? Well, you see, there's one big problem with flushing toilets, and this is the sore or the vulnerable spot, the Achilles heel of the whole system, is water availability. So people in Grahamstown saw it in the news, you don't always have water. And yeah, what do you do with your flush toilets? Where does the poo and pee go? It just stays there. It sits there, and then all this wonderful stuff about your waterborne sanitation just turns the other way, right? So this is a big problem, and we need lots and lots of water. So when we think about, each of us produces about 550 liters of poo and pee per year. How much water do you think you need in order to flush it? How many bathtubs? 100 bathtubs? 1,000? What do you think?
100.
I also have something to bribe with. Anyone? Here, you must know, you usually smile at me, so that's always... How many? Just make a guess? 1,000. 1,000. Well, it's not that bad, luckily. So it's about 2,000 to 25,000 liters, which are around 180 to 200 bathtubs full of water. And it's not just any water, no, we take drinking water, yeah? We take drinking water and mix it with our poo and pee, and then we end up with brown water. And for what reason? Yeah? Why? Why do we do that? For transport. Because we want to flush the poo and the pee away. And now, of course, it leaves us with the question, how do we get it clean again? And for this, we put it in a wastewater treatment plant, and with the help of some bacteria, we take the poo and the pee out of the water again, which leaves us with pretty reasonable clean water. So what's, again, the logic? We take the drinking water, we mix it with poo and pee, and does that make sense? No. It's pretty stupid. So it's much, much better if you keep them apart. You want to keep the water out of the poo and the pee and the other way around. And of course for me, I think, and this is all my research goes into that we keep all three of them separately. Right? Big breakup time now. They've been together for so long. So they have to go their own ways now. So no more flush toilets, get rid of them. I don't want them to see anymore. I think they're stupid, I don't like them. I don't want to poo in drinking water. I don't know how you feel about that. Eek. So what you do, you can have something like a urine diverting toilet, and our body makes it easy, right? Number 2 to the back, number 1 to the front. And the same is how our toilets work, yeah? And then you end up with 2 separate waste streams or resource streams, and the guys can even stand up while peeing, so no one makes them to sit. And then you can have these wonderful fertilizers, or, and this is my research, poo power, yeah! How do you do that? You produce methane. You know that stuff when cows fart, they produce methane. You can also do that in a sealed container. You produce methane. So it's pretty much the same stuff that you use for when you go camping or when you have a gas stove. You can burn it, put it through a combustion engine, and then you end up with nice electricity. Well, I have to say it once,